Bom dia! Hoje estou estudando português. We're not working on speaking yet, so I'm definitely very rough. But I wanted to say that to intro this video. Hi everyone, welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Shea, and if you've watched my channel before, you know that I am currently living in Italy because I've been studying Italian here in Bologna for the past 2 years. However, earlier this year, I made a series of videos explaining how I started learning Brazilian Portuguese. I also mentioned at the end of one of those videos this. You are wondering, am I going to continue studying Brazilian Portuguese? I think for right now, I'm going to put it on pause because I don't really have the time to commit to studying a new language, but I found myself still very curious about Brazilian Portuguese. I still liked reviewing flashcards, watching some content in Brazilian Portuguese, and I found myself always just being drawn back to it because I am very curious and I am excited about potentially learning a new language. I decided that I would still continue studying, but just very, very casually. No pressure, just studying when I want to and learning just for fun. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing some ways that I've been studying Brazilian Portuguese as a beginner. So I hope you enjoy this study vlog. Okay, so first off, I'm still working on building up my vocabulary. So I'm still working through the 1,000 most common words, and I just use a flashcard set to review those. Luckily, a lot of the vocabulary words are very similar to Italian and Spanish, so a lot of times I can actually figure them out just by using my knowledge of both these other languages, but also beware of false friends. Italian has them too. So I prefer Quizlet. I have a Quizlet set that I like to review, and I like to try to do about at least 15 minutes. More if I have more time or I'm more motivated, but 15 minutes is my baseline, I think, a good amount of time to really review the words. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with that. Next, I work on my pronunciation, and I know I said that I'm not really speaking yet. I'm not speaking full sentences and trying to come up with sentences on my own, but pronunciation is one of the hardest things for me learning this language. I don't know why, because with Italian and Spanish, usually I'm able to mimic the sounds. When I look back at my first Italian video versus now, I can tell where my accent has improved, but even when I first started, it wasn't terrible, at least I don't think. But there are certain sounds in Brazilian Portuguese that genuinely my mouth, I just can't make that noise, especially the nasally A sound. I try moving my tongue around my mouth to figure out okay, where does your tongue placement have to be to make this nasally sound? And I try the nasally, I cannot get it to sound right. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I still have yet to find a video that helps explain it because it's so hard for me to make that sound. And I also wonder if it's a big deal if I can't make that sound. Will people still be able to understand me? I don't know. Speaking of pronunciation, I like to watch YouTube videos because there are a ton of videos out there that help explain pronunciation. You can speak along with them. And so I think YouTube is a great resource if you're looking for help with pronunciation. Another thing I like to do is just reading out loud. I also like to listen to the audio of the flashcards when I'm reviewing them. And I think it's important to start working on pronunciation early on, at least mimicking what you're hearing whenever you are watching a video or you're doing a lesson, you're reading, you're reviewing the flashcards. Just mimicking sounds is really important because, like I said, I'm still trying to find the correct pronunciation, even though I'm not fully speaking yet. I still think it's important to at least start getting a good foundation for your pronunciation. So I'm going to go ahead and use some YouTube videos from creators that I have been enjoying and found really helpful. So I'm gonna watch a few of those to, again, keep working on my nasal A sound. Hopefully one day it just clicks, because so far it has not, and I'm still wondering what the key is, and I'm waiting. If anyone has advice, please let me know. So I did a few videos. We're getting there, I think. Another good way to practice pronunciation is by reading aloud, and that's also helpful because I'm also still learning how certain letter combinations make different sounds. So speaking of reading, that leads me to my next study activity. As I mentioned in my other Italian videos, I was reading a lot at the beginning. I read short stories, children's stories, and then now I read full novels. I read a book in Italian the other day in like 2 days. So reading is super helpful. So now I wanted to do a similar technique with Brazilian Portuguese. I feel like using stories to learn whether you're telling them or reading them is a very engaging way to learn. And today's sponsor, StoryLearning, gives you the perfect roadmap to show you exactly how to do that. So today I'm partnering with StoryLearning to show you how you can learn a new language with engaging stories that provide context and authentic use of the language to help with your listening, comprehension, and speaking skills. When you start each lesson, you're guided through how to approach it, first by listening to the audio and then reading the text in the target language, and then trying to see how much you can understand before looking at the translation. And I really enjoy it because you actually have a teacher guide you through vocab, grammar, pronunciation activities, and they even have exercises to test what you've learned in each section. So that way you get a really solid understanding of the vocab and the story before moving on to your next chapter. I've really enjoyed using it. I really like being able to work through each chapter with these specific activities and checking off my progress as I go. I already feel like I've made a lot of progress with my comprehension by using StoryLearning. I think it's really good if you are learning a language at home like me and you're looking for some sort of structure. And if you feel stuck with your language learning right now, maybe you are looking for a new method to try, you haven't ever tried learning a language through stories, I highly recommend you try StoryLearning. Plus, I have a huge surprise for all of you. If you click the link in the description below, you can get access to the StoryLearning course for just $97 instead of the original price of $297. That's a huge discount that I would definitely take advantage of. It's completely worth it, and I highly recommend you try it, especially if you're trying to find a new method that actually works for learning a new language in a really fun and engaging way. And if you'd like to see a little bit more about how it works, and if you're not fully convinced, I'm about to move on to my next section so you can see a little bit about how StoryLearning works. Okay, so here's what you see when you open up the lesson, and first I'm going to go ahead and listen to the chapter before I look at the text, before I look at the translation. So I will go ahead and listen to this first, and then move on to the text.
Acho que é livro do David, dos livros que pegou na biblioteca da universidade.
Once I listen through once, I like to play the audio again while I also read the text, just to kind of match it together and see if I can get an even deeper understanding now seeing the words.
Para eles, são muitos livros, mas todos parecem comuns. Acho que nenhum destes livros é especial.
So then if I feel good about how much I was able to comprehend, I kind of check if I was correct by looking at the English translation. Sometimes if I want to though, I will listen to it multiple times and read it multiple times before moving on, which I think is really important. Not just, rushing through everything. So once I do that and I just make sure I understood it, I then move on to the next few sections. We go over things like cognates, vocabulary from the story, some new grammar concepts, and then also some pronunciation practice. And then they suggest speaking activities that you should ideally do with a partner, but they also don't pressure you to start speaking if you aren't ready. Like me, after I finished chapter 1, I still was not ready to start speaking. And then finally, they do an overall comprehension check just to make sure that you understood everything in the chapter that you just read. And then once I finish that, I have one final fun, easygoing study activity left in my session. My final study activity is listening to music on Spotify. So with Italian, I also made a Spotify playlist of all my favorite Italian songs, like pop songs, slower songs, traditional, classic, like Italian songs. And it was something that I found really helpful and fun in the beginning, and I still have this playlist that I've been adding to now that I know more songs. I think it's another great way to practice pronunciation because when you're singing along, you can kind of get an idea of how words are pronounced and also just culturally learn more. So just recently I've been trying to find some songs to add to this playlist, but I don't know where to look. I tried looking at like Brazilian top 50, like the top hits, but I haven't really found a lot that I like because a lot of it is just like, I don't know if it's necessarily rap music or like party music, but I want to find some other like not always party music because of course I love upbeat like pop music, same with Italian, but sometimes I like some calmer stuff and like I don't know exactly what artists to listen to. So if you have any suggestions, please comment them below, because when it comes to Brazilian music, I know zero. Like, don't know anything about it. At least Italian, I kind of had an idea of some artists and like songs that I already liked, but with Brazilian music, I really don't know any artists or where I should even start. So let me know what songs I should add to this playlist. And then once I have my playlist, I like to listen to it when I'm just going for walks outside, you know, I'm running errands, I'm cleaning around the house, just whenever I want to have some fun music that I get to listen to. So it's a great way to study, but not necessarily study, just like immerse yourself more into the language that you're learning. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to search some more songs and add some more to my playlist. And I do think I'm gonna go for a walk later today because I need to get out of the house, so it'll be a perfect opportunity to listen to these songs. I hope you enjoyed this quick study vlog. I don't study every single day, but when I have the time and the motivation, I love to do these study activities. But I think it's also important to find methods that you enjoy doing. For example, if I only have time for one study activity, right now I'm really enjoying story learning because, like I said, it's all laid out for me. I can easily work through all the activities, and it's just a fun, engaging way to learn. So I highly recommend trying it. Like I said, if you're looking for a new method, if you're feeling kind of stuck, you want to try something new, it's the perfect opportunity, especially because, like I mentioned, I can offer you a huge discount, just $97 for access to the course. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this video, so I will keep sharing some study vlogs and show you my progress with Brazilian Portuguese. Hopefully one day I can make a video where I'm speaking more, but like I said, I'm still working on the pronunciation. I still need to figure that out, but I promise I'm trying. It's just gonna take a while. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, and don't forget to check out StoryLearning at the link in the description below. Bye.